Here we have an impossible staircase. Why is it impossible? Well, if you notice, all the stairs keep going up until they link up with each other and keep on going up. Or you can say that they go down. Now this is achieved because it's a drawing, and again it's an illusion, and we're going to make marks on this page that look right as we think we see them, but in reality it'd be impossible to have a staircase that kept going up or kept going down. Let's start off with a basic shape. Here's the basic shape we're going to make the staircase on. It's in two-point perspective. I'll start by drawing the first set of stairs on the nearest side. The next set. Coming back now. Notice that now that we've come around and we've turned the corner, this face of this stair would become part of this wall, so this line would disappear. Also, we come up here, and this is the step that's going to come back this way. So we wouldn't have a line here, and we'd have an inside line here because the staircase makes kind of a circular well. Now for the last part of the circular staircase. Once you get the basic idea how this works, you can elaborate and make it more complex. Here we've added another loop of other impossible steps. You can make this as complex as you'd like. You could add balconies, pillars, roofs, people, or anything you'd like, and you can add on to it again and again, making it more and more complex. I went through that rather quickly, just to give you the basic idea of how things work. Now I would like to take some time and show you some helpful hints that'll help you draw it. When I'm drawing complex shapes like this, I like to have guidelines. The easiest way to do that is to have an undersheet. In other words, have a sheet under this that gives you the basic angles and divisions so that you can get your sizes and scale correct and the angle of your lines. These guidelines are done in two-point perspective. They fit right under my sheet of paper, and they help me get all the angles correct, and I can get the sizes correct in perspective. When I drew it, I started from this corner and worked my way all the way around. One of the simpler ways to do it is to start with a full step, either this one or this one. Now, one of the basic rules in drawing is to always draw the closest thing to you or the most important. Well, this one's kind of the closest one to you, and it is a full step, so this might be the best one to start with, and then you could work your way this way and this way. When doing staircases, it's important to try and figure out how many steps you need. Now you'll notice there are 4 here, 4 here, 4 here. That works out. Sometimes, if you have different size steps, it throws off your geometry and you need to make corrections or adjustments. Now I'll start with that first step and draw it, giving you some helpful hints. Here's the first step and the edge of the tower or well, whatever you want to call it, with the stairs. I have done it so that now if you look carefully, you can see my guidelines underneath here. Not only do the guidelines help me get the angles correct, but also when I start drawing, I get the sizes correct. For instance, I can make my stairs a whole size or a half size. That's a decision you have to make as to how big you want your picture to be. Now for the first 2 steps, I'm going to go up on this side and I'm going to go down on that side. Now we have the first 2 legs of the staircase done. Notice this one, although it's 4 steps, appears to be shorter than this one. To give yourself enough room when you get back to this back side, you need to get out here a ways. The further you carry this one out, the further down this one could get. So sometimes you have to try it and then go back and make adjustments. Now for the next 2 legs. Again, on this section, these are longer than these so that they link up correctly at the end where they join. You don't have to have the steps the same size. Let me show you an option. Here I have erased 2 steps. You can see them lightly. And then I've made them smaller steps here. The same thing happens. You have the same number of steps. You go down the same amount of distance. So it still works. And this can come in handy if you're trying to do a more complex one where you might have different objects on it or structures on it, or you're doing some kind of scene or building some kind of building. So you can change the size of the steps. They don't have to be the same size and they can vary as long as they go down the increments that link up with the next one, that links up with the next one, that links up with the next one, and ends up in the same place. Here are a couple other simple additions. Now if you'd like, take your time and try and draw it yourself. Remember, you can always look back on this and use the pause button so that you can follow along step by step.